What's up, guys? Thank you for watching. We're back today with another carry ammo test, and in this video we're going to test the 45 ACP. But before we get started, I want to thank a very generous viewer because the gun that we're going to use today was actually donated by a subscriber. After the 1911 video that I did a few weeks ago, he reached out to me and said that he would like to send me a small carry size 45 because I said I didn't have one, and I thought he meant just loan it to me for a few videos and then send it back. But when I called him, he said he wanted to give it to me, so I really appreciate that. And he actually has his own online store. I don't think I can link it in the description, but I will run it across the bottom of the screen here. It is turtlelaketactical.com. So if you guys would like to help me thank him, you can pay him a visit over there, maybe give him some of your business. I visited the website yesterday, and he has a lot of good stuff, and based off what he told me, he can get pretty much anything. So go pay him a visit and help me thank him, because that is just incredible that someone would reach out to me and send me a free gun like that. But like I said, we're doing the 45 ACP today, and if you haven't seen the 1911 video I did, I will link it in the top of the video here. But after I did that one, I had a lot of you guys ask to see the same ammo tested out of a smaller carry size pistol for those of you that do carry the 45. So let's go ahead and get started and take a look at the first bullet we're going to test today. All right, guys, I got a tarp on the table underneath our gel blocks today because there is dried up watermelon juice on here from a previous video. But the gel blocks I use, as always, are the 20% Clear Ballistics Gel Blocks, and in these carry ammo tests we use the FBI Heavy Clothing Kit, which is a denim layer, a heavy fleece layer, a heavy t-shirt layer, and a thin t-shirt layer. The gun I'll be using is the 45 ACP Smith & Wesson Shield, and the first round we're going to test is the 230 grain Federal Premium HST. Alright, our HST went in right there towards the middle of the gel block. Wound cavity is pretty standard, nothing abnormal there. Continued down our first gel block and stopped right there. And I hope you guys can see that, but that bullet is definitely fully expanded, and looks like it performed really well. The HST looks like it stopped at about 13 inches in our first gel block. Alright, next we're going to test the 220 grain Hornady Critical Duty. See that red flex tip that it has in there? These bullets are specifically made to be barrier blind, so they should perform well in the heavy clothing test. And I've tested 9mm for so long that I forgot how huge these 45s are. These are some giant bullets. So this is our first interesting result of the day. The Hornady Critical Duty went in right there above the HST. And for the first probably 8 to 10 inches, the wound cavity is very small. Then it opened up really big, abnormally big for the Critical Duty, almost like that bullet was tumbling. And it left our first gel block, went into our second gel block, and stopped right there. And I will dig these bullets out, but I don't know if you guys can see that. That bullet did not expand at all. So kind of abnormal for the Hornady Critical Duty. Usually these bullets perform pretty well in these heavy clothing tests. And the Hornady Critical Duty stopped at about 19.5 inches. So kind of an interesting result. In the 1911 video that I did, we had some problems with the Critical Defense. The Critical Duty didn't expand a whole lot, but it usually doesn't. But I did have a lot of you guys tell me in the comments that that wasn't much expansion, even for the Critical Duty out of the 1911, but it definitely expanded more than it did here out of the Smith & Wesson Shield, so kind of interesting. All right, next up we're testing the 185 grain Hornady Critical Defense, and like I said, it didn't do very well in the 1911 video, and I've tested the 9mm Critical Defense quite a bit, and it always performs perfectly, so kind of surprised me to see it not expand like that. Let's see if it can redeem itself out of the shorter barrel on the Smith & Wesson Shield. All right, so the Critical Defense looks like it took a right-hand turn and left our gel block. It doesn't look like it expanded to me, but I want to redo it just to make sure and see if we can capture that bullet in the gel block. All right, so our two critical defenses are those two holes on the bottom right there. And the first one is easy to see from this side of the gel block. It is that big wound cavity right there. And it looks like it was probably tumbling in the gel because it has a huge wound cavity. It continued down the gel block and left the gel at the 17-inch mark. And like I said, I don't think that bullet expanded because usually the critical defense does stop pretty short in the gel. And our second critical defense is kind of hidden behind that first one, but it has a much smaller wound cavity, and you can kind of see it from the top, but the gel block's a little cloudy up there. But it also continued down the gel, left our first gel block, went into our second gel block, and my suspicions were correct because the second critical defense also failed to expand. You can see it's turned backwards right there underneath our critical duty, and it looks like it stopped at about 19.5 inches into the ballistics gel. So kind of strange to see the Hornady bullets doing this in the ballistics gel. In the 9mm, these are two of my favorite rounds because they always just perform perfectly. They always expand and perform exactly how they're designed to, but I have not had good luck in the 45 ACP versions of these bullets, and it's not super cold out here. The snow's starting to melt. It's probably 45 or 50 degrees, so the gel blocks are not freezing cold. The ammo is inside, so I don't know. I'm having trouble coming up with an excuse for these bullets failing to expand like this. All right, guys, next we're going to test the 200 grain Sig Sauer V Crown. And this one also didn't do very well in the 1911 test, but I've had problems with this bullet in the 9mm version as well, so it wasn't quite as surprising as the Hornady rounds were. Let's see how it does out of the Smith & Wesson Shield. All right, so I'm trying to place these bullets in a way that the slow-mo camera will pick them up, and if I shoot them to the left, they'll just be hidden behind the other wound cavities. So the Sig Sauer V Crown went in right there towards the bottom of the gel, and if it would have went straight, it would have stayed in our gel block, but it went all the way through our first gel block, into our second gel block, and turned right and exited the second gel block right there. And that is a lot of penetration, and I think it's safe to say that the Sig Sauer V Crown also did not expand. But I'm going to go ahead and step back and shoot it again. The slow-mo cameras probably won't pick it up because I'm going to have to shoot it more towards the left of the gel block. But let's go ahead and do it again so that we can capture this bullet and know for sure whether or not it expanded. All right, so this is a different result. I'm going to have to show you from the top of the gel block because you can't really see it from the side. But the second Sig Sauer V Crown that we shot did expand and stopped at about 15 inches in our first gel block. So I think it's safe to say that that first one definitely did not expand because it went like 25 inches or something into our ballistics gel. So at the very least, it's inconsistent. It did expand. I'm not sure how well. I'm going to pull these bullets out obviously before the end of the video and show you guys what they look like, but the Sig Sauer V Crown did expand on the second attempt and did not expand on the first attempt, so take that for what it's worth. Alright, I went ahead and pulled these bullets out of the gel so we could take a closer look at them. The first one here is the Federal Premium HST, and as you can see, once again, it performed really well. The common denominator in all these videos seems to be that the HST just always performs perfectly, so they got that figured out. Next, I have the Hornady Critical Duty, and like I said, it did not expand at all. Didn't even start to expand. Same with the Critical Defense, didn't expand. And I'm not really sure what that's about. The Hornady Critical Duty and Critical Defense always do really well in 9mm, so I'm not really sure why I'm having bad luck with the 45, but neither one of those expanded. And then we have the Sig Sauer V Crown, and this is actually the second one we shot. And how about that first one flying straight in front of my slow-mo camera like that? I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't notice it until I started editing, or else I would have stuck around and tried to find that bullet. But that one did not expand. The second one here definitely did expand, and it actually expanded pretty well. Not like the HST or nothing, but it did open up and stop in our first gel block. So the second Sig Sauer V Crown performed pretty well. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked the video. Kind of got some interesting results in this one. And I've heard from several people that the low velocity of the 45 is what makes it hard to get bullets to reliably expand like that. So maybe that's to blame. I'm not used to seeing that from Hornady. Like I said, the 9mm versions of all these bullets really perform really well, and I haven't had the best luck out of the 45. So I will be doing more of these tests. Gold dots are a big one that I want to test. I know I've heard from a lot of you guys who want to see those as well. When I went and bought these, they were sold out of gold dots, or else they would have been included in these first couple tests, but we will get those in the future, and a bunch of different types of ammo as well. Now that we have a small carry size 45, I want to thank the owner of Turtle Lake Tactical for sending that gun. Don't forget to visit that website, and I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up for me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.